Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring King. Get ready for a very spicy deck profile featuring OP08 here on the channel, which I am very excited to bring to you guys. This leader took me by surprise. He was a lot more fun than I first gave him credit for, let alone he does have, his ups and downs, his little quirks. He does need some work, but I'm not going to hold you. He's not going to be a tier 1 leader by any means necessary, at least right now. His leader ability, although it sounds awesome, is very lackluster and it leaves a lot to be desired for. But before we dive into these deck lists here, we're going to talk about a couple builds, some card choices, the usual. This might be a little bit of a longer intro than normal, because I have a lot of things I want to try to talk about if I'm able to, and some of these things I probably won't remember, But in any case, his leader ability. You -2 Dawn. You can choose 2 different abilities to activate, only 1 per turn. If your hand is 5 cards or less, you can draw 1, or you can give an opponent's character -2 cost for this turn, which is great, sounds good. But there are some other cards that just do this much better, and they're not even leaders. And we're talking about just, for example, I've seen some King builds that have been trying to utilize Gil Tesoro, which this guy in Green Uta in film, Doflamingo film, this was a very good card. In King, probably not so much, but he does have similarities with King in himself. King's ability, -2, draw 1 if you have 5 cards or less. This reads -2, draw 2 cards when you're attacking. This is much better. Just overall, much better. Very good. Because there are situations where if you're playing into like a Black Yellow Luffy matchup, and he might be a 7k lead, you're not going to hit him. Well, it doesn't matter, because as long as you attack, you draw 2. This is a pretty solid effect, and I feel like King could have probably taken this and done more than what they gave him. Overall, his other ability is very useful, especially if you have Jack on board, and we're talking the 7-drop big body, but we'll get into that in a quick second. What you currently see on screen are a bunch of ramp cards that purple and red decks utilize. We're talking like RP Luffy, Kaido, Blurple Kaido, Purple Luffy, King, and a couple others. But these are generally the ones in which you would be using in most variations. Now, when it comes to King and Kaido, Onigashima Island is going to be our staple. It's going to be something that we need to see. This is our guaranteed ramp each and every turn. In your opening hand, if you don't see this card, the game could feel really bad. Considering a lot of different variations of King, we utilize a lot of big bodies, which have 0 counter power. So, to not see Onigashima, to ramp into these big bodies, will make the game feel a lot slower than usual, let alone we're not playing a lot of stuff on board, because we don't have access to the Dawn. So making sure you see this in your opening hand is going to be essential to most of your matches. And I feel like without this, you generally can lose, and most likely will lose that match. This makes the match feel a lot better for you, and sometimes it actually makes you feel a little bit overwhelming, considering the amount of bodies, the big bodies you can put down on board is kind of good. Now, we have other cards here that you can also use in tandem with Onigashima Island. And for example, things like Miss All Sunday, Basil Hawkins, these are just some of the go-to ones that I think everybody is paying attention to, everyone has been utilizing. Basil Hawkins and King, not so much. Miss All Sunday, not so much. These both have really good effects in Red Purple Luffy and Purple Luffy. In King, again, we use a lot of cards with no counter power. So being able to have to take the hit to hope you get a trigger is not very good. Let's be fair. We are not going to hide around or hide behind a 6k body, whereas Luffy can. So he can utilize them a little bit better than we can, to be fair. Now, you also have access to things like Thunder Bagua. Again, more of a RP Luffy thing. King could also use this as well, but it's more so when you take that hit. And considering both decks are rampy, we play a lot of bodies on board in which we don't have a lot of active Dawn to spare. So this isn't really going to get a lot of value here in King. We do have cards such as Lead Performer and Brachio Bomber, which have very useful triggers and on-play effects that allow you to kill something at 6 cost or less, and or ramp 1 and draw a card. This is pretty good. I actually like this card here, but there are better choices, such as Mr. 2 Bond Clay, Kid, and Charlotte Pudding. Now, we're all familiar with Bond Clay. We know how good this card is. So I'm not going to tell you need this card, you must have it. I'm not going to say that. And I don't feel you do. This card sits around $25 to $30, give or take, right now. So it's a little expensive for a lot of people. Even if I have my sets, I'm not going to be using this in King. I don't feel I need him. I'd rather use Pudding, Onigashima Islands, and Kid for my ramp. The other ramp cards that I always include are generally going to be my zero cost events or my lead performer. Now, we got a new card in OP08, which is called It's to Die For. This is a very, very good card. Overall, if your opponent has a 6k power or more in play, you get to ramp 2 for the cost of 3 Don, which is really good. And they become active. So, this is also something to consider. Now, I'm going to show you guys a lot of different King variations, and then we're going to dive into the list that I'm currently using, which is my favorite one. Now, as you can see, these deck lists, they have very many different variations that you can build with King. You can go for a Navy package with Isho and the Kuzan and the other 4-cost Kuzan Borsalino. You can do something like that if you want to. You can go into Animal Kingdom. You can play with Big Mom Pirates. There's a lot of different ways you can build King. But some of these lists are going to be very, very spicy. You're going to see cards in which you don't normally see in a lot of King decks, such as Pudding and Garp, in which they have a very, very good use here in King. Garp allows you to kill anything that's 6 costs or less on board by resting this character and then trashing one from hand. It says 4, but you get the -2 from your leader ability, therefore Garp is killing 6 costs or less for free by trashing one dead card in hand, which we have a lot of that have no counter power. So, I think Garp can have a very, very good use here in King. It might be a spicy tech. This could just be a hot take. Maybe he's trash for a lot of people. I think he's pretty solid overall. Now, when it comes to some of the bigger bodies here, like your 9-drop Kaido, your Kuzan I think is going to be staple. I think you're going to want to see this in a lot of different King decks. I think he's really, really good for what he allows you to do, especially if you already have a Jack on board. If you have Jack on board when you drop the Kuzan, this man kills everything on board for free. Because Kuzan already minuses 5, Jack kills anything 3 costs or lower, your leader ability will also -2, then Jack can hit things that are 10 cost, which is really, really good. Now, at the end of the day, these are both very, very expensive cards to get on board, so you're going to need that ramp, which is why you need to see Onigashima Island and or any other ramp card in your deck. Whereas Bond Clay is very, very useful, but he is you play him down and that's it, it's over, he's done. Because you got to keep in mind, you're going to be playing against Rob Lucci, Gecko Moria, Bonney, Carrot. All of these decks can make very, very short work of Bond Clay, meaning he'll hit the board and they'll be dead next turn. He's very good into matchups like Black Yellow Luffy, of course, and decks that don't have a lot of removal. But into decks like the ones I mentioned and decks like Boa and Doflamingo, this is probably not going to survive. But this will always be on board unless your opponent is teching for, stage eruption of some sort. But this will always give you that free ramp, which allows you to get to your curve when you need it. Now, Pudding, on the other hand, a lot of decks also don't utilize this, and I think you guys should not overlook her. Just like Kid, and we all know what the Kid does, right? We're all familiar. Very, very strong blocker for purple. Kid allows you to, when a Dawn card leaves your field, you can also add one more Dawn back from your deck, essentially, and put it as active, which is nice. So in other words, if Kid is on board, use your leader ability. It basically counts as -1 Dawn, because Kid will give you back the Dawn afterwards, which is great. If you have Kid and Pudding on board, your ability is free. Alright? Free. Because Pudding does the exact same thing as Kid. Except for, it's not active, it's rested, but you still get the Dawn back. Now, I've also seen a lot of people playing this deck incorrectly, and I want to go ahead and touch on that real quick. If you notice, let's say you're on 7 Dawn curve, right? Let's say you're on 7 Dawn. You just played Jack, and then you decide to activate your leader ability. What happens? You go down to 5 Dawn, you ramp up with Onigashima, which puts you to 6, and then you go to 8 next turn. On 8, you have options of Isho and Bisabo, generally speaking, most of the time, and or Gecko Moria, right? Gecko, this is the only black deck in which I feel is very lackluster, because we don't run, a lot of decks don't run Borsalino or Rebecca here, so he doesn't have a lot of prime targets to choose from. In this particular list here, he will be picking up Queen, and that's really about it. So Queen, Suru, Pudding, Black Maria, that's all. Rebecca will grab you back just Jack, considering it's a 7-cost black card. So if you're running a build like this, you would get back Jack and Garp, for example. Those two characters don't have a lot of value here when it comes to King, depending on how you build it. Now, if you guys are going to be going into like a Navy package, you can do that. Because in a Navy package here, you have access to the Borsalino and the Kuzan, which can be gotten back with Rebecca's if you want to run Rebecca in King. But again, if not, Rebecca has no place here. Therefore, Gecko Moria also loses a lot more value. But there are some very, very strong Navy cards that, you know, King can utilize, such as the Kuzan, the Isho, the Garp. We also have Hina. I know this might be a hot take, but going into the meta when we gain access to the new structure decks, Blue Doflamingo is going to be everywhere. He's going to be a deck to beat. He's going to be a tough deck to deal with. Hina allows you to rest those characters, or sorry, basically freeze those characters in which when she blocks. So when she blocks, like on block, you can choose another character on your opponent's side of the field at 6 costs or less, and that character can't attack. Everything that Dofi plays on board in blue is usually under 4 off his leader ability, which is great, right? Lovely. Plays down the Jinbei, gets a Weevil on board, passes turn. You play Hina down, they go, you block one, and then you tell the other one it can't attack. It's pretty good. But in any case, the build today that we are going to be utilizing is this one right here. This is my favorite iteration of King that I've come up with so far, and I think this is my favorite one, and the only one I would recommend to everyone to try at least once, because I feel confident in this list. I like my ratios here, and I feel like running anywhere between 10 to 12k 2k counters is ideal in most situations. I've seen some lists that struggle and run 8, and I don't feel that's the way you want to go, due to the fact that all of the big body cards that we use, which we generally use a lot, have no counter power. So we have to sustain ourselves into the late game. And speaking of which, you're going to need blockers to do that. Kid, Queen, although this isn't searchable, and Queen also can't search himself with Queen, you still have ways to draw into it, and draw into the Kid off the Queen's ability. Now, you can tech in the new card that we got from OP08, the Searcher. You can tech in this, and it's not going to hurt you at all. This allows you to at least search out for your queens if you need them, or you feel like this is a better search for you, you definitely can. Because you also can just drop this if you want to, and just go 4 of these, but you also lose out on the 1k counters. So you can have some wiggle room here with the card you see in this list. I can go down 2 0-cost events, and add in 2 of these if I want to, without hurting the deck too much. Maybe 4 of these might be too many. It's a possibility. I like them just because they're in life and we can pitch a no counter card and be fine, right? But I think this is a very, very nice inclusion if you want to run something like this as well. Now, again, with the Kid and the Pudding, if both of these are on board, they can make your leader ability 1, or they make your leader ability free, which gives you a much better usage of your skill. Now, I touched on it a little bit earlier, where you have to make sure you're using your leader ability on curve. So again, if I'm at 7 Dawn and I drop the Jack, right? I ramp up with Onigashima Island, which will put me at 8. I end my turn. When I go back to my turn, I'm at 10 Dawn, right? Which is awesome, because in 10 Dawn, I can play Kuzan. If I had activated my leader ability from 8 minus 2, I'd be at 6, going back into 8 the following turn, therefore I couldn't play Kuzan. So you guys have to be mindful of what your big drops are before you activate your leader ability. You don't want to set yourself back from being able to get something like Kuzan or Kaido on board. But in any case, there's one more card I want to talk about here before we dive into a bunch of games today, which is Sovereignty. I don't see a lot of people running this, let alone from a King player or just purple decks, I think this is a pretty solid card, and I think that you guys do as well. This allows you to kill anything that's a 6 cost or lower, which hits a lot of targets. But with an Ice Age, with a Kuzan on board, this will hit anything in the game. It doesn't KO them though, it just, it doesn't trash them, it KOs them. It doesn't bottom deck them, so anything like a Black Sabo can stop this. But this gives you an opportunity to use this inside of a Carrot and or a Jewelry Bonney or Doflamingo matchup and be able to clear the board. Considering we are playing a control deck, you are going to want to control the board more so than going for life in most cases. And this really helps you do that. Now, there's one more card, because I lied, there's one more card I do want to touch on before we dive into our games today. And that's going to be Brook, the 6 cost. So if you notice, like if you're playing against a Black Yellow Luffy and they play multiple Sabos, right? This allows you to take that Sabo and throw it in the trash, because Sabo protects you from KO effects. Brook is pretty solid. But we also got a new card that can replace this in OP08 for black decks. And I think a lot of people are probably misreading this or misutilizing it for what it actually does, and that's the brand new Kaido. So, the 9-drop Kaido, this also puts that card in the trash. It doesn't KO it. This will kill anything that's 7 costs or under. With your leader ability, it allows you to take care of 9 costs. This is a activate main. Once per turn you can do this ability, but only when he's played down. But therefore you can also put that card in trash instead of KOing. So this can remove things like Doflamingo, 10-drop, Kid, any big body, Kaido has got you. So if you guys also want to work this into a list, by all means, he's a very, very strong card, and he can be included into most King builds. But in any case, we're going to dive into a bunch of games today. I do hope you guys are going to enjoy this. This was a lot of fun for me. Sorry for the longer intro today. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Come at you guys with King from OP08 playing into Jewelry Bonney, in which we'll probably play not too many games today, unfortunately. I've got to get ready for locals and stuff today, and I'm also will be doing a box opening video, so that's coming here very, very soon. So I do hope you guys are going to be excited for that one. I don't know how many boxes I'm going to end up opening for OP08, but they should be a lot of fun. Speaking of which, the intro was probably longer than usual, so I apologize on that. There's just so many things to talk about when it comes to this leader, and I don't think I could do it and concentrate on the game at the same time, so there's still a lot of things that I probably didn't say, and I might touch on here throughout these games, so I'm going to try my best. But in any case, we did get Onigashima here in this matchup, which should be pretty good in our favor. Bonnie's not going to leave up any Dawn here as well. We're in 6. Let's ramp up. I guess we can't really do much here. We don't have any big bodies to play down on board, so I guess I could force the card out of hand with the X-Drake, or I could just go 9k to face. Can't do Kaido yet. Lin. 7, 8, 9. Next turn we can. Yeah, let's just go 9 to face here. Oh, my bad. I should have went 8k. That way Queen could have attacked as well. But at least that guaranteed a hit, considering she didn't counter out of it. I've got to try playing around the Basil Hawkins. I think that's going to be one of our biggest problems going into this matchup. And if we can't get board control before she drops down the Hawkins and like the bigger threats like Doflamingo and stuff, we're in a lot of trouble. The cool thing about King, we're able to use Jack to kill Hawkins without an issue, because we can attack with everything on board first, play down Jack, use leader ability with King, minus the Hawkins, then rest Jack to kill the Hawkins for free. Which is nice, because Jack will rest himself, therefore Hawkins doesn't have a target. We need to get rid of that Cavendish, that's for sure. So rest leader. Let's go 5 into the Bonney here. So I think if we were to attack with Queen, she'd counter out and then rest lead. This way we can do this, and then we have a choice of dropping Kaido or Big Mom here. I think dropping the Big Mom is probably better. That way we can heal up a life as well. Alright. Okay, that's fine. We'll take that block. Get the Dawn minus. And we'll trash the 0 cost event. That's fine. I'll put this on bottom of life. Because now she goes into 8, right? Pretty sure? Yeah. So, if we didn't remove the Cavendish there, if she decided to play down something like Eustace Kid, she could smack me with Cavendish, restand the 2 Dawn, have a Dawn for leader effect and 1 Dawn to attach to the kid, while putting down 2 blockers for free. So that was lucky for us. At least we had 2 outs to get rid of the Basil Hawkins there. Or not Hawkins, but Cavendish. Speaking of Basil. That's 1 that went to trash. We know she has at least 1 more in hand. From the searches earlier. I'll give you the 2k here. No Dawn active. Not finding the Urouge or Mad Monk early is probably going to hurt her a lot here. Let's clear this. Let's just get it out of the way. Yes, I realize I could have got rid of it with Queen, perhaps. Okay. I don't necessarily care too much about these. If we can do a damage, that'd be great. Nice. We're going to slow play from here on. Now that we have an Ice Age, we can kill Kaido. Not Kaido, we can kill Doflamingo. Let's drop the Searcher. I know that might have been a little weird. And we can drop the 0 cost event. Yeah, in hindsight, it might bite me in the butt later. Who knows? But having 2 Kaidos could be pretty good here. Black Maria. We can ramp the Dawn back. And the following turn, we'll be back to 10 Dawn, which is nice. I usually try to stay around 8 Dawn at most when I'm using my leader abilities and trying to play other cards on the same time. That way Onigashima can get me back along with my normal 2 Dawn per turn. But a lot of the times if I have Pudding on board or a Kid, it just feels so much better. And I can activate more things. So they rip life here for the Hody Jones. 3 Dawn left to play around with. They're going to need 1 Dawn up for Bonney effect. They toss a Hody, 2 Hodys from hands, which is really, really good. So that means we've seen 3 cards in hand that have no counter power. 5 lead. I don't necessarily mind because we have the Queen here. I want to try to protect. Oh, never mind. They can have that. I thought he would at least try to kill the Linlin. But that's fine. That sucks, man. Because if we kept the Queen, we could have protected out with the Sabo and the 2k. I figured he'd go for life, or at least try to go for the Linlin there. Alright, let's Ice Age the Hody Jones. Then we can drop Kaido the Poppet. Or, actually, don't do that. It's not good. We need to attack first. Yeah, let's attack first. This way she'll arrest the Queen. And then we'll attack into this. I'm not necessarily worried too much about the Ice Age. Some people kind of let things go when they think it's going to pop, so that's fine. If she decides to guard out, we'll just get rid of with the Kaido afterwards. She did arrest the Queen. Cool. We got a 2k out of it. Now we can kill this with Kaido. The downside here is, considering we don't have Kid or Pudding on board, I can't use my leader ability and be safe. So we'll just have to go 5. Nice. I mean, I got a blocker for it, so... And we got that one as well. Alright, so we go to 8 next turn. This might be the Dofi play, which would suck. Because she would rest... You know, the 3 bodies that are on board here, and then my leader can swing in. Yeah, this might be a Dofi play. Here we go, boys. Give you the Pudding. Cavendish, never mind. Basil Hawkins. Okay, so we have to clear these off board if possible. I think we can do it, at the very least. Nope, gotta attack with this first. So she'll rest the big mom. Yep. Sure. Let's see. I want to save enough just for Kid. That way you can play down Kid after this. 8. Yeah, I think 8 is fine. If she blocks with Hawkins... Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Yep. It might be better just to go into it with Queen. Because if he's going to get... If she's going to drop Dopey next turn, she won't be able to clear the Queen. But this way she needs at least 5k counter, right? Yeah. So we're chilling here. Alright, so we got rid of that. Now we should be safe from Doflamingo. At the very least, because she can only rest the, or keep frozen to 3 on board, and or leader, but if she does that, she cannot kill the Queen, unless she runs Cavendish into it, and that's fine, we have the counter for that. Another Hawkins, okay. You're cool. 6k here, I'll counter out with Kid. That's fine. We get an Ice Age, it's pretty good. Okay. I didn't want to use Queen anyway, it's fine. We'll ramp up. So now we have to clear board here. Somehow, some way. We'll go 10 into this. And then she'll rest Linland again. Oh, she'll block. Okay. That works too. So how do we do this? 1, 2, okay. I think we're fine. She might have one attacker up at the end of this turn. We have to attack with Queen and then leader. And then this way, we can drop down Sovereignty to remove the Basil Hawkins and the Cavendish here. Or the Carrot. Actually, we have Dawn to play around, don't we? Yeah, we have 3 Dawn, okay. You know, in hindsight, I probably should have went for the Cavendish there. But she had the counter anyway, so it's fine. We'll kill this, and we'll kill that. You can't rest anything, which is awesome. I already did that, my bad. We're 8, okay. Now we'll save it. It's probably better to save it, just in case she draws into a Hody Jones or a Doflamingo. And we have the Ice Age and Kaido to pop it. 9 lead, that's fine. Well, she will freeze the Queen. Yep. Another Ice Age. No 10. Linland hasn't done anything since she hit the board, which is unfortunate. Bonney's leader ability is so strong, man. Oof. I don't think we can go for game here. Because I don't know if that's a 0 cost event in hands. We probably could go for game, truthfully. And it's probably better to try it, but what's the possibility of her actually running into some sort of event or having the counter here? Because she could have at least 9k. And I would have to go 9k here, and then go 8k with Queen. So let's play smart. Be down another blocker. Yeah, right? Because math, I wouldn't be able to get through that. Because I would swing 9 with lead and 8 on Queen with 3 extra Dawn. Or sorry, with 6 extra Dawn. She can take 1 hit and guard out, so this is probably the better play. We probably should kill the Carrot. So let's go ahead and do that. Or see if we can get these cards out of hand. Oof. Now I feel like a misplay was made. Oh, that's my bad. That's my bad. We have 6 in hand. I can't count. Alright. My fault. Go ahead, counter out. You deserve it. I made the misplay. It is what it is. I think I probably should have just put the Dawn on leader and swung at the carrot. Oh, but it's okay though. It's fine. We're chilling. It's all good. I forgot she couldn't have drawn into Hody Jones, considering we've already seen 3 of them already. Unless she runs 4, but I think we were chilling, boys. We got there. Yep. Keeps that frozen. So Queen hasn't moved since Carrot hit the board, and Linlin has never attacked once this whole game. Go 7. I'll counter out here as well. It's better too. So we get a Carrot off that. We get a Pudding off that hit. And good game, Bonney. It's definitely a slower paced matchup, I feel, but considering we play for control, I think it's better that we decide to do that. Well played. And she drew into the Dofi. Crazy off the trigger. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're probably diving into at least 2 more games today. When it comes to King, I do hope you guys are enjoying this one. This was a lot of fun for me to at least do, the video on. Sitting here and brainstorming all these different variations of King, trying to find a deck that works. That was a lot more work than I thought at first. Because this leader is, he's very challenging. Considering he can be built in numerous different ways, you have to build him in a way in which that actually works. It clicks, it makes sense. And I feel like I'm confident enough with this list to actually play King and do fine with him. Now, like I said before, I'm not going to hold you. King is not going to be a tier 1 list or a tier 1 deck by any means, at least right now. But I do think he has some pretty good matchups in the format. I'm hoping to showcase this here with Blue Doflamingo. This is going to be one of the big bads in OP08. But I do think King can have a good matchup into him if we see the right pieces. And this is one of the matches in particular that I teched in Sovereignty, which is the 6-drop Big Mom Pirate card that allow you to kill 2 characters of 6 cost or less due to the fact that Doflamingo just board spams. So, you should counter out here as well, I think. In any case, we're going to try to play this matchup for board control more than going for life. And I think that's the correct play as a control deck. It might be a little bit slower pace than we're used to here, but the board state, he's going to keep flooding these bodies out each and every turn. And if I can't get them under control, we're just going to lose the game entirely. I'm thinking about just giving him bait here when it comes to a kid. If he has the removal for it, that's fine. I'm not too mad about it. It was either that or go 6k here with King and he gives me the Jinbei. Or he just gives me, he gave me a 2k anyway, so I wouldn't have been enough. So, got 6 in hands. He found the Perona in the early game, so the next 5 or the next 3 are already stacked up, which is unfortunate because he got the Jinbei off and then he just drew for the turn. So Doflamingo here. Alright, 5k lead, give you the 1k. Sabo doesn't really get much value here, so I don't really mind just throwing that away, because you gotta remember he has a lot of bottom decking abilities with Red Rocks and the Gravity Blades, so not necessarily popping, where Sabo is the best at. Go 6, we give you a 2k here. I want to stay a little bit healthy, or relatively healthy in this matchup, as much as I can. Another Onigashima, which is not great. We do have the Kaido here. This is probably the better play. We play Kaido down, pop the Jinbei, and then run... No, let's pop the Jinbei, because we'll get a Dawn back from the kid, which we can put on here and then go 6k into Moria. If he decides to guard out, we'll run Kaido into it. Okay, we'll take that. Get the ramp back. And this should give us the other Dofi card from hand. I know going with Kid is a little aggressive, but it's okay. You might as well do it before they get removed next turn. Because now he's at 8 dot, which is now Gravity Blade range. Okay, or not. I have no choice, actually. Yes, he actually gets this. That sucks. But kid did block an attack for me, so I can't be too mad about it. Moria will get back the Doflamingo if I had to guess. This man has seen all the pieces he needs. 3 bodies on board after that play, which is kind of nutty. We're at 8. As much as I don't want to do this, we may have to jack on the Weevil. I think we have to jack on the Weevil, because we can kill the Jinbei with Kaido and or Leader Swing here. And there's no way we're going to clear the Weevil other than using the Ice Age. Well, actually, never mind. We can just use our leader ability in that sense, right? So, we should be okay. Nah, let's just do it this way. Get a 0 cost event. We'll trash the Onigashima. We'll kill this. This way we stay on curve for next turn. Because if I did use our leader ability there, we would have been at 9 Dawn again. Because we'd go down from 9 to 7. With no kid on board, we don't get the Dawn back. So Kaido's frozen. We do have Kuzan here, which is really, really good. I think he should have... No, that's right. That's the right play. Because freezing Jack doesn't mean he doesn't restand, he just can't attack. So yeah, I guess freezing the Kaido is the correct play here. Because now we can drop Kuzan, kill the Gecko Moria, and then rest the Jack to pop the Boa. We get a 2k off that, which is pretty good. Another 0 cost event. I think we're chilling here still. Let's go 5 here first. That's fair. Okay. Change of plans. We have to do it this way. Pop this. And then we'll jack it. Another 0 cost event. Alright. Trash. KO. I guess we can still do leader ability here, so. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, I think taking this matchup slow is definitely the way to go. Dofi still has 4 life, so I haven't really went for that at all. I've been trying to control board in this situation. And limiting him to, you know, his resources at this moment in time. Because he's only used 2 Morias now. So that means he's going to get back another Doflamingo from trash, I'd assume. Yep, so that's his 3rd Dofi. Which I think this turn he probably got super lucky. So if you noticed, I've been trying to control board here instead of going for life, which is probably the correct play to do this. Or the correct way to do this as king. In each of my Dofi matchups that I've tried playing into this is... Normally, if we can't control the board, he just overwhelms you with bodies. And I think trying to play like the fast-paced game is the incorrect way to do it. Considering he gets a lot of bodies on board and king does not do that, he is going to overwhelm you if you don't control his numbers. So going for life just potentially gives him more Jinbeis, more Doflamingos in hand to just keep this up. By going for characters on board and removing characters, he's going to pitch cards from hands to protect them. Which seems to make sense for me. Let's go 7 here. Jack can kill anything on board right now. He hasn't seen a red rock, which is great. Not complaining. That's 1. You could argue that we could play down X-Drake here to give him the pitch a card in hands, but I'm not sure if that's worth it. We'll get rid of a 0 cost event here. And then we can kill the Moria. The Dofis, I don't see him attacking unless he wants to invest Dawn. Which, that's okay. Let's get down a blocker. Nice. Not bad. Yeah, why not? I think we're okay with starting to beat him down. Surprised he didn't guard that actually. Okay, there he goes. Do leader ability. Nice. We'll play queen down. And take the 2k. That's pretty solid. 11k counter in hand right now. So nothing he can play here will win him the game. There's a red rock. I mean, that would definitely help. Kuzama's doing a lot of work for me here. Wow, you're cool. I'd imagine he would take a 2k counter, but I could be wrong here. If he takes another blocker, it wouldn't be bad, but we can just pop the other one with the jack. Oh, okay. Guess he's going Dofi again. Give you an X-Drake. I feel like once Jack hits the board, he's so difficult to remove unless you guys are going to don up heavily and go into him, or you have the hard removal with the red rock. We'll clear this. At least should be able to clear this. If he guards out, we could potentially use Sovereignty just to pop both of those back to the trash. Or we can clear them the other way. If we Sovereignty, we can't queen. And I feel like having queen just to draw 2 and have another blocker on board is just a better scenario. Okay. I don't see any downside of attacking Jack into Moria here. I think that would be okay. Or you can surrender the game. Yo, I could actually win for game there and won. That's crazy. Huh. I mean, I guess we had it either way, but still. That's nice. Good game, buddy. Well played. That's pretty crazy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. What do you guys think about Carrot? You think she's worth playing? I'm interested in doing a couple builds with her and seeing where it can go. I think she has some promises, right? I think she's pretty good overall. Her leader ability is really strong. Being able to keep things locked down with the Electrical Luna and Doflamingo seem to be really, really good. So it might be something I might want to dabble in here soon. But I'll let you guys decide on the next poll as well. Hopefully the next deck that I put up is not going to be as difficult as King. I assure you it won't, so that's good for me. Wow, 3 searchers off. That's crazy. Got herself a Beppo and two Milkies. Interesting. Or Milky, depending on how you want to say it. So that means that's 3 2k counters in hands. Wow, that's wild. Go and get that ramp up. Go 6 lead. What do you do? Give me the 2k. Thank you. So 2 more to go that we know of. This should be a tough game, I think. Because she can rest down my queens and my kids on board. Which does suck. That way I can't use them as blockers, and she can actually threaten by attacking into them. But seeing You Are My Samurai is a little interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. This might be some sort of like Perona-esque build with low-cost units to draw a lot of cards. Which I'm okay with. So, going 5 here. That's fine. Hey, let's go, boys. We got an extra ramp up. That's crazy. So now we're at 8 done. That's nice. So potentially we can get down Kid and Pudding. But let's clear a Wanda first. Maybe. Okay, cool. She'll rest this, perhaps an attack into it. She does have Minx on board. I don't think there's a way out of this. Let's get her to the discard a card. I guess playing down Kid doesn't really help me here because she can rest it and then attack into it. Doing Sovereignty, I lose the 2 Dawn, but we remove a lot of bodies on board. So we'll go with that for now. I probably should have saved it till later. Hopefully that was alright. Because now we go to, what, 9 Dawn next turn, I think? Yeah, math. A lot of small body units. That's 3 2Ks that we've seen. The Melkies. Or sorry, 4 Wandas that we've seen. Go 5 here. I don't want to go down too low of life. I think 2 is fine. But just in case they run the Hody Jones or Zoro, I gotta be careful. So we get a queen and a jack. We definitely should kill this. This is going to be really, really good, because I think if she can get down multiple of them, she can have 2 characters that give her Rested Dawn for free. Go ahead and trash Onigashima here. We can pop the Wanda. And then I think we're chilling here. Leader ability gets me back a free card. Thank you, game. Another Sabo. We have a handful of counter cards here. Should be alright. She's at 9. So potential for Zoro. Those Rested Dawn come active again. That is so good. That is pretty good, man. That is a pretty good card. Unfortunately, it has to be a 2K counter, but other than that, it's pretty solid. Oh, wow. She might be going for Jack. Oh, she is. Cool. We'll go ahead and guard out. I think if she takes Jack out here, we end up losing unless we find another big body. Which we don't know until we play down the Sabos and the Queens to draw into them. Yeah, another Black Maria. That's not good. We need to get rid of that somehow. That should be gone. Let's run Jack into it. She might not have it. Sweet. She played a lot of 2Ks out on board, so that's pretty good for us. I don't want to play Sabo just yet. Not bad. So we get the Ice Age, which is pretty decent. Can I get lucky? I guess I can. Definitely taking the Kaido here. Now it's a party. Our board state's looking pretty good. We've got Kaido up. We can kill anything she puts on board. That's a big cost here with the Ice Age Kaido combination. So I think that's pretty good for us. She has to be aggressive here and try to clear these bodies on board, though. I think Jack has to die. Because if not, he enables us to kill 7 cost units next turn with Ice Age if we want to. Okay. What are you doing? I'm probably just going to take this hit, honestly. Oh. Okay. You can't have this, sorry. 8 left. Demon Face. Say what? Alright. I didn't expect that. That's pretty good. That's a nice touch. I like that tech choice. Alright, respect. I can appreciate it. I guess playing Sabo there instead of Queen was probably the better play. I did not expect Demon Face. I can still get down Sabo to draw 2 cards, though. We can trash Jack and something else. Definitely an Ice Age here. We don't need the second Jack. Now we can play Queen. Another Kaido. We'll trash the 0-cost event. I know that was probably weird and we probably should have kept the 0-cost event, but I don't feel like I'm in any danger. She hasn't played any big threats as of late, so I'm assuming her hand doesn't have very much of anything right now. There's a 5. We're going to go all out here. We'll attack with Queen as well. And the order should have been 5, 6, and 8, but apparently map's not my strong suit. Yep. She didn't have 2Ks anyway. Cool. Love to see it. That's pretty good. So now we can block up until 8K, which is nice. I might have to let the Queen go here, though. Okay, resting Sabo. Alright, so we get the Sabo rest with Carrot's leader ability. Going 7 to face. Interesting. Maybe she wants me to block here, that way she can... Oh, she can't Dofi, actually. Never mind. Electrical Luna. I forgot about that. Pretty good. Pretty spicy. Because all of my stuff is now frozen. And then she freezes a Dawn here. No, she doesn't. She freezes another character. Interesting. I guess if she would have froze the Dawn, it wouldn't have mattered here. So, we'll take those. It's another damage. We'll pass it over. As much as I want to do leader ability... 6, 7, 8. We go to 8 Dawn next turn. Let's do it. We have a lot of blockers on board. I feel relatively safe. We get another 1k counter off that, which is nice. We can replace one of the blockers here if they die. Alright, so we get a Maria from that, which is nice. Nekamamushi. So that's going to swing in at 7, right? And then she plays down a Pedro, maybe. Yep. 5 left. Get a Kuzan. Oh, another one. Alright. That's fine. And good game, Carrot. See, man, King isn't so bad. I'm not saying my build is very good, but I think it's pretty solid. I'm having a good time with it. You know, you may have something a little bit similar. You may be wanting to try something that I'm doing right now. By all means, go for it. I think King's pretty good overall. Just needs a lot of work and a little bit of luck, because you need that Onigashima to ramp up to stay ahead of your opponent. Well played, Carrot. Well played. Good game. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last one of the day, and we'll dive back into the deck list. I do hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun for me, let alone playing a new leader that has multiple different build paths. You might see more of this on the channel, even though I was frustrated with doing it, but hey, it was fun. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thankfully for us, though, we got the Onigashima in the mirror, so I'm hoping he didn't draw into it. Or he might not even be running it. Let's hope. What is that? X-Drake? Okay. Alright. Might be a similar style of build. Go 5. We get a queen for that. We will guard out. Unfortunately, I don't want to give him the X-Drake, but I also want to give him the Searcher. Let's get down the queen. And we draw nothing. Oh no, we got a 2k counter. That's good. We almost got nothing. Alright, let's kill the queen. And then we'll play down a kid here. Get the ramp up. And now we're chilling. So he's at 6, we're at 7. So we go to 9 next turn with Kaido. Never mind. I cannot Kaido anything. Feels bad. 6 lead. We'll give him the 2k here. Gecko Moria, interesting. I don't know if I mentioned it in the intro, I might have. I think I did. I feel like Gecko Moria, this is the only black deck where I feel like he's a little bit lackluster. Which is weird. Like, unless you're running a Navy package with like Borsalino or Rebecca, you don't have a lot of targets to pull back with Gecko Moria that's actually valuable. You're getting Queen and the 1-drop, and that's about it. 6, 7, 8. He goes to 8 Dawn next turn, so it's a potential of a Jack. Or Sabo, if he's running an 8-cost Sabo. I want to be prepared here. Sorry, Puddin'. You got to go. I'll go 6 lead. It's my bad. I forgot the leader skill there. I definitely should have leader skilled there. Oh well. It happens. Bro, how many Sabos you got? Feel like we're playing Lucci versus Lucci again. Alright, so he's at 10 now. We got another Jack. I can't remove anything on board with Sovereignty or Kaido, so that does suck. Instead, we can just play down Jack, let him chill here, and then go 8k with lead. Let's do our ability first, get the draw effect, get a Kuzan. That's nice, man. We could potentially go 6 with Queen, and then 6 with lead, but it's probably better just to go 9 in hopes that we get a damage in, or get cards out of hand. Cool. You love to see it. Just going to ramp up. Didn't really need to, but it's fine. So now he can pop my stuff on board. My Sabo effect did go away. I'm hoping he doesn't have Kaido. Okay, never mind. Or he's going to kill Eustace. My bad. Alright, so there's that. Trash a card in hand, get rid of Jack. So how do we deal with this? 6 lead. It's probably better not to take this hit right now. Okay, so we get a pudding. It's not going to help us out right now. Kuzan will kill the Sabo. And then next turn we could potentially... Oh, actually, no, we can kill Kaido now, can't we? 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we can kill Kaido now. We're chilling, we're chilling, we're chilling. Pop this. Jack will do things. Trash that. And we'll pass it up. Because we can't hit him due to the Sabos being the 6k. So we'll ramp up. And then you can go. So that puts us back to 10 next turn. So we got a pop with the Kuzan on the Sabo, and then Jack killed the Kaido. That was a pretty big play there. So I think we've won the board control at this point. Kaido can't touch Jack. Trash this. Now another reason for the sovereignty here is in a moments like this where we have Kuzan on board, sovereignty can pretty much touch everything else in the game. So technically we could play sovereignty and pop the Kaido and the Sabo at the same time, which is definitely better than the 9-drop. So thank you, Kuzan. And now he's in trouble. Yeah, this is fine. Actually, you know what? No, that's a misplay. That's my bad. That's a poor use of her ability. Don't do that. Don't do that. That was terrible. I was supposed to use my leader skill first, but what are you gonna do? Let's go here. $6k to face. Now this really comes down to what he has left in hand, because these are going to be some big ones. And next turn we should have game. Yeah, I should have used my leader ability first to draw one, and then use Black Maria. So that's definitely my fault. But it's okay. It happens. It is what it is. Not really in any danger here. Okay, never mind. Never mind. That's a thing. That's a real spooky thing, actually. Ooh, no, you can't have this. But we do have the out, boys. We have the Ice Age. We have the either Linlin or the Kaido. Let's get the Russian, though, instead. Pop. Let me get that 2k counter. Or Law, that's fine. There we go. This should be a good game. Got himself a Kaido. So that's his third 9-drop Kaido that we've seen. But he can't use it due to the fact he doesn't have the Dawn. That's fine. And good game, buddy. Well played. That hand, though. Oof. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the end of the video, in which today we played around with King from OP08, in which this leader surprised me. He was a lot of fun, just a headache to work with, considering the fact that I play a lot of Yamato. Yamato was one of the most versatile decks that I've ever picked up here in One Piece. You can build this leader in so many different ways, in which, when King first came out, I think a lot of people just talked down about the leader, myself included. His leader ability is very lackluster, and that's not going to go anywhere. But with the sheer amount of different deck variations that this leader can be built, I think that's where the fun and the flexibility come into play. And I think right now in the current metagame, he has a lot of potential. He has some pretty solid matchups into green decks, blue decks. Black Yellow Luffy, Katakuri, and Rob Lucci are very, very troubling, considering the fact that he can just kill a lot of your blockers on board and some of your bodies. But the Lucci matchup isn't as bad as some of the other ones. Whereas the Jewelry Bonney can be a nightmare if they're able to lock down a lot of your stuff with Doflamingo and Electrical Luna, where you need Jack, for example, to pop a lot of stuff, right? But his ability is rest this character, and then you can pop something. Well, if they decide to drop a carrot on board, rest Jack, keep him frozen, therefore you can activate your leader ability, or I'm sorry, you can activate his ability. And then the following turn, they can do something like Electrical Luna or Dofi you. They can keep this man stalled for a very, very long time. I think Bonney is a very, very tough matchup, but you also have a good matchup into it when you see the right pieces in your removal. Now, I do think King in himself is very fun to play. I would highly recommend this list, let alone any variation that works for you guys. Just give him a shot. Let me know what your thoughts and your opinions are going to be down in the comments below. And while we go into these deck lists here, we're going to talk about some future changes on the channel that are going to be coming up here in October. Now, you can go ahead and pause the video at any point if you see a deck list you guys want to go ahead and just copy and try out for yourselves. All these lists are going to be different. All these lists I've been working on up until this point of the video. So, I've had a lot of fun with the majority of these lists. Some lists more than others. Like this one here particularly was okay. The idea was really, really nice behind it, to be able to have Page 1 and Ulti always having a body on board. If I counter out with this, I can always get her back on board with the Page 1 and always have something. Now, this deck also runs a lot of no counter cards with no zero cost events, so that does hurt you quite a bit. So this was one of my earlier variations of King. But if you guys want to take this and tinker with it and try to change it into, your playstyle or what have you, feel free, of course. We're going to show you a couple other variations here of King as well. This one, we start utilizing the You're Going to Claim the One Piece and the Ragnarok. This card in particular, I think is really, really good, and I mentioned it earlier. It can search pretty much everything in your deck, whereas the Queen can't search out your Queen, whereas this can. The Ragnarok allows you to kill anything in-game. You -2 with your leader ability, right? You play Ragnarok, you're chilling. This Kaido, very strong, which we talked about earlier today. The Sabo is hit or miss. This build fails for me in terms of it doesn't have the Ice Ages or the Suru. It doesn't have a lot of cost reduction for Sabo to make a lot of use. But it does allow you to kill the 5 and 3s. So in the matchups where you're playing against Jewelry Bonney, this really comes in handy, being able to pop some of the cheaper blockers on board. Because you can activate your leader ability, get the minus effect, right? And you can play down the Sabo, and you can kill things like Carrot, the Urouge, which is the Mad Monk, things of that nature. You're not going to be able to kill Basil Hawkins, of course, because once Sabo hits the board, they'll rest this. But you can kill a lot of prime targets with this. Variation 3 is also a little different. This list will run 16 2K counters opposed to 12 to 14. I went a lot more defensive because I wanted to try to make Gecko Moria work. This was one of my first iterations of King, and this is when I tried doing this build in numerous different ways, trying to utilize Gecko Moria, and I think the Gecko Moria doesn't have as much value here in King unless you are running a Navy package, or you're playing with this card that has a prime target, such as a 4 cost, like this. But in order to do that, you need cost reduction. So the only cost reduction you'll get in this build is Kuzan in your leader ability. Therefore, I feel like Gecko doesn't gain a lot of value. And we already went over, cards to use with this to make it work better, whereas it does work in decks like Rebecca, Rob Lucci, Gecko Moria, not so much in King. And we have one more deck profile, which is this here, which we start playing around with the Garp. I very much like this card, and I think he's very strong in this list, just because, again, he can pop anything that's 6 costs and under. Isho as well, very strong into Bonney Enel, Katakuri, because they normally have a lot of cards in hand. I would very much love to include this in all my lists. It's just very hard for me to get space. He's a very strong card. Definitely don't sleep on him inside of King either. But overall, I had a lot of fun today. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Updates that are coming up here in the month of October. OP08 is starting, which will be Friday for a lot of you, which is today for me. Now, OP08 is coming up, which means a lot more locals games. I also want to try getting vlogs here on the channel when I'm going to certain shops and stuff. Don't hold me to that part, but hold me to a lot more local games that you guys are going to get here when it comes to more content. I also want to try doing deck profiles in person for decks in which I find interesting or very good at locals. So people that let me interview them and stuff will be taking a peek at their deck list, how it did for them that day and all that sort of thing. I'm going to try my best to do that. I get a lot of people who go to locals, they have fun, they either win or lose and they go home. They don't normally stick around. Some people do. So if I can get a couple of those on the channel, that'd be a lot of fun. But overall, I expect a lot more locals games here. And I'm debating on streaming at some point. It won't be next month, but it's something I want to work up towards here for YouTube. It might be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people are interested in that. It's just a lot more work. So we'll see. Overall, this has been Pawseplays. This has been a King build for OP08. Do give it a shot. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions down in the comments below. And I will catch you guys in the very next video. Good luck on your box openings tonight, tomorrow, what have you, this weekend. I'll see y'all later. I'm going to head out.